Imagine a night in Los Angeles. Stage lights shimmer, cameras flash across the faces of top musicians, and the world awaits a new era. The 2025 Grammy Awards was supposed to be a night of glamour, but everything changed when a hip-hop legend took the stage. Eminem. With razor-sharp lyrics, he shook, attacked, and destroyed the Grammy stage with unimaginable words. This is a story of how one performance changed everything. Tell us in the comments whether this was courage or rebellion. The lights of the Staples Center in Los Angeles dazzled, captivating thousands of eyes awaiting the most historic moment in the music world. That night, the 2025 Grammy Awards was filled with a tense atmosphere. Everyone knew this was more than just an awards show, but a stage where reputations were at stake. Cheers thundered, cameras rolled, and the big screens focused on the faces of top musicians. Backstage, a man in a black hoodie walked with determined stride. Marshall Mathers, better known as Eminem, looked different that night. His eyes were sharp, his face serious, as if he were harboring something big. There was no friendly smile for the cameras, no small talk with the crew. He simply looked down, catching his breath, and his fists clenched as if preparing for battle. The VIP room at the side of the stage was filled with famous stars. Jay-Z chatted casually with Beyoncé, while Taylor Swift smiled at the cameras that kept rolling. But the conversation stopped when news began to spread that Eminem would be taking stage with something the organizers had never planned. Some faces looked tense, others curious. The MC's voice boomed, announcing the start of a special performance. The audience rose to their feet, cheers erupting. The stage curtain slowly opened, revealing Eminem's silhouette standing alone amidst blinding white light. His hand gripped the microphone, his body erect, his face determined. A few seconds of silence intensified the tension. Cameras focused on the audience's faces. Some held their breath. Others held their phones, ready to capture the historic moment. The atmosphere seemed to stand still, waiting for the first moment when Eminem's voice would emerge. When the first beat hit the speakers, the room shook. It wasn't an old song nor a new collaboration, but something entirely different. Eminem began spewing harsh, angry lyrics, insulting the music industry, the media, and even the Grammy brass themselves. His words were sharp, piercing, leaving no room for denial. The audience was stunned. Some cheered hysterically. Others fell silent in disbelief. The artists sitting in the front row exchanged glances. Some nodded in admiration. Others paled in discomfort. Everyone knew what they were witnessing wasn't just a performance, but a declaration of war. And behind the scenes, the Grammy committee was panicking. Their earphones were filled with the screams of producers begging for the music to stop. But nothing could stop Eminem. The night had just turned into a judgment call, and all eyes were on the one man who dared to challenge the world. Every line from Eminem's mouth sounded like a bullet. The words pierced through layers of falsehood, striking straight at the heart of the music industry he had so ruthlessly criticized. There was no censorship, no filter. He called names, exposed fraudulent practices, and exposed the dark side of the most prestigious awards. The Grammy judges' faces, under the camera's glare, tensed. Some tried to smile awkwardly, while others looked down, hoping not to get caught up in the storm of lyrics that continued to rumble. The audience was divided. Some stood in rapturous applause, while others covered their mouth with their hands, shocked by Eminem's boldness. In the front row, Billie Eilish stood with sparkling eyes, clearly showing her admiration. Meanwhile, a major label executive looked away, as if reluctant to be part of the camera's spotlight. That night, the truth that had been hidden for so long was beginning to be revealed, and no one could hide it anymore. The beat grew louder. The spotlight danced wildly, but the focus remained on Eminem. Every sentence struck a chord, not only with the Grammy brass, but also with the artists who had once sold their integrity for gold. The atmosphere was tense, but no one could look away. Everyone was caught up in the brutal honesty on display on stage. As the song reached its climax, Eminem paused. His breathing was heavy, his face flushed, and his eyes glistened as he stared into the camera. In a low, powerful voice, he uttered a final line that sent the entire room into a roar. It wasn't just a lyric, but a vow, a declaration that shook the very foundations of the event. A cheer erupted. Some members of the audience stood, screaming hysterically, while others remained silent, as if witnessing history that would never be repeated. Cameras rolled, recording every reaction, immortalizing a night that would become the biggest controversy in Grammy history. Eminem dropped the microphone to the floor and walked out without a glance. No smile, no greeting, just a firm step that left a lasting impression. The curtains closed, but the impact was too great to be dampened. That night, the Grammys no longer belonged to the announced winners, but to a man who dared to go against the grain. He didn't just perform. He shook the world with his courage and honesty. And from that moment on, everyone knew the 2025 Grammys would never be the same again.